Namo Namaha friends, I am RRK. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things bookish. Today I'll be talking about my reading plans for September. I'll not label it as TBR or to be read, mainly because, as I mentioned in my July reading wrap-up, which by the way you must check out, I have this mind block when it comes to TBRs. So I'm going with a fluid, loose plan this month because end of the day, I still need a plan no matter how chaotic it is, just to ensure that I don't get overwhelmed by the sheer number of book choices I have and stop reading altogether due to a brain freeze. So this month, I have a plan in 3 complementary parts. I have created them to achieve 2 major goals. So one is to read as much as possible, and the second is to have fun while reading. Because without achieving the second goal, there is no point in continuing with this hobby at all. I need to pause once in a while just to remind myself why I read. The moment a hobby becomes stressful or overwhelming, it's stopped being useful. So that is why I decided to do a reboot to the way I approach my reading. So the first brainwave happened when I was scouring my Goodreads TBR to find a book to read. I am a person who panics when I see a messy desktop or mailbox. I can't rest till I clean it all up. The screens where you see hundreds of open tabs, thousands of icons on desktop and lakhs of mail in their inbox, well, my nightmares are made up of that stuff. So when I saw my Goodreads TBR that had more than 450 plus books, I literally lost it. I realized I'm fast on my way in becoming a virtual hoarder, and I was shocked by that realization. So I immediately decided to clean it up. I realized I'm using Goodreads TBR as a dumping ground. Anybody has a good recommendation, anywhere I see a book, I simply put it in my Goodreads TBR. And here I'm not even talking about my ebook TBR, my physical TBR, or my audiobook TBR. So at some point in my life, I started dumping all the books that I want to read sometime into my Goodreads TBR, and that's the reason why it has become so unmanageable. Then I realized, no, I shouldn't be doing this because Goodreads is the place where I go to figure out which book I want to read next. So I don't want it to be messy. So I created another G sheet where I'm dumping all the books that I might want to read at some point in my life. I won't view it as frequently as my Goodreads. The chances of it triggering me is minuscule, and my Goodreads TBR is not overburdened. As I was cleaning, I had another brainwave, that is to keep my Goodreads TBR less than 100 at all times. Now, how did I arrive at this number? There are people who read more than 400 plus or 700 plus books per year, but I'm not one of them. Though I love to read, kids and real life happens, and I can only realistically read 100 to 150 books per year. So it doesn't make sense to have 450 plus books in my Goodreads TBR, especially when it most certainly will make me anxious. So that's why I settled on the number of 100 books. So the only rule is, if I must include any book in the Goodreads TBR, I must finish a book, move it to the red pile, and then only then can I include a new book into my Goodreads TBR. I do not know how practical it is because I binge watch YouTube and I get 10s or 20s of recommendations, and on the spur of the moment, I generally include it in the Goodreads. It's an exercise of hygiene. So I just want to try it. Let's see how it works. Now let's move to the second part of my plan. As some of you might be aware, September 10th is Ganesha Chathurthi festival, the day we celebrate one of the most affable gods of the Hindu pantheon. So I wanted to celebrate our love for Gajanana by reading a few books based on some prompts. So I have created a story graph reading challenge, and I have inserted some prompts for this particular challenge. So let me just open it up for you guys. This is the story graph challenge. So here in reading challenges, as you can see, I have created the Ganesha Chathurthi reading challenge, which has about 4 prompts. So the first prompt is book that symbolifies beginnings or starts. Ganesha is the god we pray to before starting anything new. It could be a new venture, it could be your first class, it could be your first book that you have written, it could be your first job, anything. We generally pray to Ganesha to remove all sorts of obstacles, and that is why I decided that for this prompt we must read the first book in a series. It also could be your very first book in a particular genre. So for example, you have never tried a manga or you have never tried a graphic novel. Maybe this is the right time for you to try that. So any kind of first, you can include that for this prompt. Then the second prompt. So the second prompt is book with a lesson or message, because Ganapati is known as the god of learning. So for this prompt, we can read a book with a lesson, a message, a theme, or any sort of information that is new to you. Could be a book that has changed your life or affected you very deeply or has influenced you in some way. So you can choose any such book. Then the third prompt, timeless book. Ganapati is known for memory retention and is a god of wisdom and wit. So for this prompt, we can read a childhood favorite, a book that's been the longest in your TBR, or it could be a classic or a sleeper hit book. So in short, books that have endured the test of time or that can be claimed to be a timeless book. Then fourth prompt is book with mentor-mentee relationship or teacher-student relationship. So Gajanana is the remover of obstacles. So he is a guide, he is a mentor, he is a spiritual guru. So for this prompt, you can read a book that represents great mentor-mentee relationship or teacher-student dynamic. So these are the 4 prompts I have come up for the Ganesha Chathurthi special reading challenge. I have not yet decided the books that I'll be reading for this challenge, but I am planning to read it till September 9th. I'll explain the reasoning behind these prompts and describe this reading exercise more in detail in my Ganesh Chaturthi special video. So do keep an eye out for that video. Also, feel free to use these prompts to make up your own TBR, and do mention the books that you have chosen for each of this prompt if you like in the comment section. As you have seen, I have created the story graph challenge page for the Ganesh Chaturthi reading. So if you would like to join me in reading a few books based on the prompts, do click on the link in the description box below and please do join the challenge. Also, if you need help to choose books for any of these prompts, let me know in the comment section or DM me in my socials. I'll be more than happy to help you. Then I have a third plan, which is to do a series reading vlog. I am hoping to read a romance series this time around because I have already read a thriller series by Ursa last month. So this time around, I am hoping to read either romance or fantasy series and turn it into a vlog. I am not committing myself to any genre. I'm just going to commit myself to the vlogging part of it. Hope I can vlog my experience of reading an entire series again. So that's my ridiculously generic reading plan for the month of September. I know I'm not listing any books. I know I'm not doing a traditional TBR video, but I decided I just have to do what works for me rather than what's popular. So let me know what you think of this format of announcing my plans and keeping myself accountable at the same time. I'll be more than glad to take your feedback. As usual, I have given all my socials in the description box down below, so do hit me up there with your questions, comments, or feedback. If you like the content I'm putting out, please do consider liking my videos and subscribing to my channel. And yes, please don't forget to click on the notification bell to be notified of my new videos. Until next time, stay happy, healthy, and safe. Om Shanti.